Hi everybody, it's Weldon, and today we are going to cover some of the basics of using Adobe Photoshop. In this case, we're going to be using Adobe Photoshop 2021, and without further ado, let's jump right in. So you can see here, we already have Photoshop open, and we're going to make a 404 by 404 pixel image. So we're going to start by clicking Create New. We're going to create a custom size. We're going to specify 404, and we're going to switch inches down to pixels. So 404 by 404. So it'll be a square image. Resolution 300 is going to be all right. Sometimes it shows a little bit too much, so you may need to play with that number. We're going to go ahead with the 300 pixel per inch resolution. We're going to click on Create New. And now you're going to see our work area here. So before we get started, let me walk you through what some of these things are. To the left, on the left side of the screen, this is your tool palette. To the right, specifically something you want to pay attention to the bottom right, are the Layers tab. The Layers is what keeps different objects in a picture separated. You'll see what the layers do as we progress through this instruction. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to find an image that I like. So let's pull up our Google here. Give me just a second to bring that over. So as you can see, I'm going to Google and we want to find a circuit board. All right, so we're going to click on images, and I want to find something that's kind of futuristic, kind of techie looking. Nothing too boring like, let's see here. I like this one. So we're going to right click and copy, and then we're going to get rid of our Google. We're going to come back in here. We're going to go to Edit. We want to paste that. For some reason, it's not letting me paste. So let's go back and copy the image. Come back here and paste. So I hit Control V, paste. So I'm going to, oh, we're not going to use this image because it's got some watermarks on it. So let's go back over to Google. Let's find a better image that we can use here. That'll work. So right click, do copy, head back over to Photoshop, go to Edit. We're just going to hit Control V on the keyboard. It'll work faster that way, if it'll cooperate with us. So we're going to copy the image, edit, paste. So now we've got our handlebars. We can press and hold the Shift key on the keyboard, grab the handlebar, and we're going to resize it, drag it back into the frame, size it down, drag it back into the frame, size it down, holding the Shift key, bring it back into the frame. We're going to size it back up just a little bit, and we're going to drop it right there in the middle, or roughly in the middle. There we go. All right, so let's try to write something on here. The type tool is in this toolbar, this palette over here. And the way some of these have a little triangle to the side, kind of that little dimple at the bottom. So we've got to figure out which one of these has our typing tool. And then we can do what we need to do. There it is, the T. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to create a text box, and we're going to say computer problems. So I've highlighted, and it puts in some sample text, but it's already highlighted, so I'm just going to type in computer problems. I'm going to highlight this, and I want to change the color. The color for the font is straight above in that orange there. We're going to change it to white and see what it looks like. So it looks all right. The background kind of drowns it out. So let's make the font, we're going to double it in size. We'll take it up to 12, maybe 14. That's kind of doesn't help us there. So we'll bring it down to maybe an 11. All right. So the background is kind of washing out some of my writing. So back over to our layer panel here. Currently our selected layer is the computer problems text. The eyeball next to it will hide the layer. But if I were to print this or try to save this, it would also hide that layer. So it's good to have that ability to hide a layer to see if there's an issue like we're having here. I'm going to click on the layer and I'm going to right click on it and go to blending options. Blending options will allow me to do a color overlay, and I can change the opacity. So 0 would be just like it was, and if I draw that slider bar up, I can make it so you can still see it. It's shaded blue, almost black in color. I kind of liked where it was at, so we'll keep it there. And now we can see our text very clean. So we're going to add some more text. I'm going to create another text box. We're going to highlight. We're going to say our phone number, open parentheses 216-475-6000. And I'm going to drop that down in size because that is not our big emphasis on this. And we're also going to change the font on there to a smaller Futura font. And we're going to hit the check mark to commit those changes. We're going to go back over to the text tool. We're going to draw another box. We're going to put weldonpc.com. We're going to put that back into a larger Futura font. We're going to take away maybe not so bold. Let's see if I can switch that maybe to italics. Yeah, that looks good. And it's a little too close, and I'm just doing this by eyeing it up. So I'm going to hit the move tool, and I'm going to hit the down arrow key a couple times, and you see it kind of spaces it for me. So if I click off in the area here, you can see I've got it spaced out pretty well. And then from here, I can add any more information down here that I want. And right now I don't really have anything else that I want to add. So maybe what I'll do is if I press and hold the control key and I go over to the layers and I click on those 3 layers and I hit the down arrow button, and if I hold shift, it'll move it down significantly further and faster, and we'll just center it. And then we'll click off, and we've made our very first Photoshop image. So if you are interested in using Photoshop, it is not a super complex, overly complicated software to use. Obviously, the software does quite a bit more than what we've covered in this video, but I just wanted to take a moment to show you some of those basics on how to use Photoshop to do some very basic things. Take a picture, add some text over top, and then you're done. Obviously, we can save that. If I go to File and Save, and I go to the desktop, if I save it as an untitled Photoshop file, we can't really do anything besides use that in Photoshop. So we're going to maximize the compatibility. And then what that looks like, that's our Photoshop file right there. That's not something you can post on Facebook or do too much with. You can't insert that into a Word document. So you need to save that file a second time. So we'll go to File and Save As. And then we're going to change that to a JPEG or a PNG. In this case, we're going to use a JPEG. The JPEG stereo. No, we're not. We're going to do JPEG, so JPEG file, and we're going to save that. And then we're going to maximize the quality because we're not really worried about image size right now. And then that way, if I go back to the desktop, there's my untitled JPEG file, and that's something you can post on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, send out if you need it printed for some reason. So that's kind of the bulk of the basics for using Photoshop. We opened the software, we inserted an image, we wrote something over top of it, we saved it, and that's pretty much the basics of Photoshop. If you want to see more tutorials, please leave them in the comments below. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and as always, thank you very much for supporting a small local business like Weldon PC.